all the time to validate their existence. So now if we change this teaching style, all the kids will come out A students. Do you believe that? So now, and you know what else is absurd in St. Paul? You know, you have a day that, how many ever hours? Say it's the contact hours time. Say it's 6 hours and or 7 hours. Well, they prescribed in their style not 7 hours, but 7 hours and a half or 7 hours and 15 minutes of different mandated things that have to be taught. And then they cut out all the things like recess, so you have all these kids that are wound up that can't, you know, and any of the enrichments, those are gone, and it goes on. So there's that statement, and then let's go in here. I'm just going to give you a couple things here. 15. A professional employee is one who is in part engaged in work predominantly intellectual and varied in character as opposed to routine mental, manual, mechanical, or physical work involving the coexistence, exercise of discretion and judgment in its performance, of a character that the output produced or the result accomplished cannot be standardized in relation to a given period of time. You see that? This is what the administration wants to throw out the window. They want to get rid of the idea that teachers are professional employees. It becomes absurd with what they're doing. I want to go on here. The teacher was insubordinate for exercising her professional judgment to implement the project learning. They call their system project learning. Or no, the teacher used project learning process in the classroom for her students rather than the prescribed teaching style that the district wanted to implement. Teachers must retain their ability to exercise discretion in the classroom, not just because they are a professional as defined under PELRA, and remember that's the Public Employees Labor Relation Act, but because teaching is part art and part science. While the vast bodies of research on learning and teaching strategies may provide generalities or trends, correlations, and theory, once in the actual classroom environment, the teacher must make decisions on how to best teach their students, respond to students' behavior, incorporate materials, or implement assessment techniques. Be it a classroom of English as a second language learner, a classroom of gifted students, a classroom of special education students, or a classroom containing students of all the aforementioned categories. Whether North Minneapolis to North Branch to St. Paul, one size fits all teaching style will not fit all. So that's what you have here, folks. If you're a teacher, if you know teachers, they need to read this and find out what's happening to them in hostile work environment. The teachers are absolutely afraid for their jobs. Talk about stupid. Talk about an administration that's out of control. Talk about a union. A union, see, that's the problem. The union is go along, get along. The union goes along and tells the teachers, well, you know what, just retire. It'd be better if you just retire. Don't make us fight this. Same with the building engineers, the custodian engineers. Just take the retirement and move on. It doesn't matter what they're doing to you. Because you know what? We in the union we don't want to have to exert ourselves and actually do what's right here and fight these issues and call the administration to task. you know, it'd be better if you as an employee just, you know, give up your career, move down the road. We don't care because, you know, we're in the union. We run the union. We got life good here. You don't want us to get involved in this stuff and put up a fight, do you? Folks, it's bad. You know, not only do you get it, these employees tell me, you know, Bob, it's not so bad that you go in there and you fight the system and the administration. It's when the union is sitting on the same side of the table as the administration. Unbelievable. You know, I'm a union electrician. I've had a lot of fights inside the union. I've called out a lot of business managers for impostoring a business manager. You know what? Do the job. All right. Okay, let's move on. We're going to switch. We got a little less than a half hour. We're going to play some stuff on Maplewood now. This is back to the trash hauling, and we're going to actually talk about some recycling too. And they're going to stop this as we go through. This is from Monday night's meeting. Of course, I was there. Okay, do we have another phone call? If we have a phone call, do you want to wait? Okay, go ahead. Run that. Caller, we'll take you in a minute.
And I do think we should probably try and clarify for the public the answer to why in the world are you doing this, because it came up several times at the October 4th meeting and it's come up other times when people talk about it. It was one of the goals of the Environmental and Natural Resources Commission to look into this, and we asked them to look into our environmental well-being, and if they chose this as a goal, it would seem to me we should pay some attention to it. There are actually citizens who have come forward in the last 2 years and asked us, are we ever going to look at this, because other communities do. We need to put a large shovel on top of the pile of rumors that says we've already made up our minds and blah, 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 because that is blah, blah, blah.
But with the...
That is blah, blah, blah. You know, I was up there, and after the workshop, and the Environmental Commission was there, and Dale Tripler, the chair of the Environmental Commission, I said to Dale, Dale, you made the statement that there was about 300 people at the public hearing on you know, government-run trash hauling, and that these people were outraged that the city was going to do this. I said, how come Sean Finwall, when she changes the minutes to these meetings, and she changes it from 300 down to 150? You know, Sean Finwall is the one that was out taking down my campaign signs several years ago, and you know, it's how they rewrite these minutes all the time. They always take and put the minutes to reflect what they want to reflect. And unless you call them out on this, these minutes, they're not true minutes. They're supposed to be what people actually said, whether or not it was correct. It's supposed to be a record of what was said. Well, anyway, Kathy Juneman's there. Kathy Juneman, Miss Dingy, council person that you just saw, does this little number. Yeah, blah, 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 blah. That's Kathy Juneman, Kathy Dingy. I wish we would have still had the camera there on her, but I mean, you see her comment? I want to know who these citizens are that called her. Give us a list of names that are calling you and telling you that they want government to run their trash hauling. You know, it's your trash. You own it. And now we're going to have John Nephew, but remember when you listen to Mr. Nephew too, he's going to tell you the lie. I don't know if it's this clip or another one, about why didn't people complain about recycling. Well, the reason they didn't complain about recycling is because they didn't have the chance. There's no state law like the one that requires for doing what having a government-run trash service, they have to hold these meetings. so people can voice their outrage. On recycling, whether or not you want to do it, I mean, it's your recyclable. Maybe you want to take and sell it yourself. It's yours. You own it. It's not theirs. But they didn't give you a chance to speak out on it. You know, remember one thing. Not only, and we counted people at that public hearing, and there were over 250 people there. So Tripler was right when he used the number 300, or about 300. That, but they trivialize it, and John Nephew will trivialize every person. He actually insults your intelligence, because you know what they are burying? There was over 1,800 postcards, and we've got copies of them, Freedom of Information, of all the people, names and addresses, who sent back in postcards that said, we don't want government-run trash hauling. It's our trash. We want to contract with who we want to, and we want the hauler that we like doing business with, that gives us the consideration and service that we ask for, and we don't want government. So let's play the next one here.
But with the amount of feedback that we've gotten from people, particularly with the mailers that were directed at residents and so forth, and with some of the remarkable information that has been done by other agencies and other communities, I've really done a whole lot of reading and a whole lot of thinking about this. And I strongly favor organized collection based on all the information that is available out there. What we're talking about is not some kind of government takeover, despite what the industry would like to term it. We're talking about using the city as a vehicle for collective bargaining for our mutual benefit. Just about any city.
You know what the problem is, folks? That there's not one council person up there that is starting from the position that the people don't want this, I don't want this. You have to prove that you have to make us want to do this. They're starting from a position up there is that we're going to implement this come hell or high water because we know better than you. And Kathy Juneman, we didn't play it there, she says, this isn't about people's feelings, what they want to feel. It's about what is our right or our knowledge to give them. We don't want people to come down here and tell us, you know, we're the taxpayers, we're the citizens, and we feel like we don't want this. We don't want this. Can you hear? We don't want this. Doesn't matter. Those are feelings. We're not going to allow citizens to have feelings for their trash hauler, or who picks their trash up, or whether government should run this operation or not, or whether government, you know, should add a little charge to this. You know, you think that if government runs something, there's not going to be a cost to have government in there? And do you not think that once they put all the smaller trash haulers out of business, that the one remaining trash hauler can't raise their cost or their price? You know, what's really interesting, Tennant is the one that received the contract for the recycling over, what's the other big trash, Eureka? I think it was Eureka. Well, you know, we always said that Eureka, there was some inside connections up there between Maplewood staff, administration, elected officials, however that came to. Well, with Tennant now, the contract that they put in there, they put all these little stipulations that Eureka didn't have, so that at any given time they can find a reason to throw Tennant out and go back to their buddies. And you know, even to the extent that they put in the contract that the city can go in and inspect Tennant's facility, that they get to go in and see exactly inside their business. You know, folks,